Saturday morning. We'll call it, I don't even know what day it is, May 11th maybe, 2024. This is a walk and talk brainstorm, ways of getting ideas out of the head that are rattling around the head. Didn't get the 30-second timer out and set in the right way, so did a couple of loops on that. But yeah, we're out here talking about Saturday morning brainstorming. Here's the interesting thing: ways of working that work for people. What do you get? So Saturday morning, my favorite time to work. Um, clear-headed, have like all sort of the inputs from the week in there, and then get to actually do something a little bit clearer. So I went to my email, which was a mistake this morning. I wanted to actually look up a couple of different things and got started into to some conversation. So I had to do like a little bit of energy clearing from that, just some exercises out of asking it is given. To get back into the creative mode, and then spend a little time with family planning for our summer activities and what some of the stuff is that we're going to be doing over the summer. And I guess that's summer activities. I'm going to repeat that. Last night went to Muay Thai fight with which is excellent. Some friends fought. One did well. Both did amazingly well. But it's always an invigorating experience. Got home at about 11:30 at night and always feel great after the fights. Now heading off to the gym this morning. To get the workout in for the day, and then hopefully we'll get a whole bunch of steps doing some walking and talking and recording throughout the day. So what we do is you start off with this. If I do things correctly and if they're planned out correctly, I do a Clef Notes before I go on to the live to get a summary of like, here's the talking points and here's the stuff that we actually want to talk about. Want to start messing around, just creating a deck based on those notes, right? To have a presentation to actually walk through during these messages. Biggest challenge with that is can't see. I'm working on the phone right now, so can't necessarily see the presentation. I'm going to move to a second device. My son just got a new iPhone. So I took over his iPhone, so I'm going to have a second device to start running some notes live as we're working through the sessions and having a live studio that we're marching through. Talking about kind of media and content creation and starting to mess around how this works like inside of a corporate space, but there is a deck that Gary Vee put out. I don't even know when it was. It was pre-pandemic, 2019, which is calling about like an anchor piece of content. So some sort of long form piece of content that can be like a podcast interview or a live that can be broken up into other areas. So we want to be able to have people consume things in the way that actually works for them. So if we're doing something, let's say somebody's doing like some sort of interview, think about it as, all right, how do we create momentum before the experience to actually get people there? So how do we start doing some of the pre-promotion? You'll see like a lot of the comedians, they will go on podcasts before their special is about to launch, and we'll do a whole bunch of promotion there to get momentum as the special is about to launch. So for people to be able to see it live. Now that's interesting, right? Getting as many people there live starts creating the momentum for some of the ideas to start to work. But now here's the challenge. How do you start getting feedback on what actually happened? And comedy is probably not the best example to use for that. But if you go talk about something, how do I get feedback after this live on what connected with people and what mattered? So one, what are the things that I'm excited about afterwards? What are the things that I care about? What are the things that I want to talk about more? What are the things that start to resonate with other people? Where do we have some common language? And the best way to check that is like, where do people start to comment? What are people interested in? What do people reach out and where do people reach out and notice where some of the benefits the benefits are. And then the thing that I'm most interested in is like, how do you post game it afterwards, right? How do you create momentum based on that feedback for something else? So if I look at it like a WrestleMania was a great example. So WrestleMania got promoted ahead of time. Before the show starts, you have a WrestleMania pre-show, you have the actual event for WrestleMania, and then you have the post-game show, right? Which is like, here's what, like, so there it's like, get here because it's exciting. That's the thing. Get here because something, you want to be here because it matters. Pre-show is like, here's what you're about to see, building up that anticipation. And the pre-show is typically building up for the pay-per-view. Then there's the actual event, and the actual event happens. And then there's the post-game saying, here's what actually happened, and then here's what's next. And then you're kicking off the pre-show for the next event afterwards. So you're you're always in that cycle of of prepping, getting people here for something that's going to be happening that's exciting. And then, so now, if you're always in that cycle, and you're not just in the media business completely, and I would argue that pretty much everybody's in the media business, but how do you start to do your head down work on as where this stuff is starting to happen? So now you've created a ton of content around each one of these. Need a way to start to get feedback for that content, leaving breadcrumbs around that content so that other people can get to whatever is that core product is, that thing that you're selling on the back end, right? So we need to have it break down into micro pieces of content, right? So it is, if I look at WrestleMania, again, I was like, they are selling events, they're selling experiences, and they're selling products. So a lot of that stuff starts happening on, getting you pushed to the website. And, on the website, what they'll do is they'll be like, hey, we're doing 40% off t-shirt sales during this event. So you want to drive people to the website during the event, which opens up the door for other, let me go and pause for a second here, when the train goes over. All right, we are back for another 6 minutes, right? So we want to creating the constant cycle of putting stuff out there. Now, if we're just putting out the media around it, like how are we working on the product, right? Of like whatever it is that we're selling, right? Is that a whole other group of people that are working on it? And then what happens if you don't have an army of people to be able to create the product right now? So if you look at the WWE, you've got an army of people that are out there, creating the product. So whatever the product is, right? The product is the media, and then all of the merchandising and stuff that goes along with it. But I argue that the media is all, I think that the media is really the pre-product to testing, to see, to open up, to have the conversation about what people actually want to have happen on the back end. So the media is the pre-product to see, here's what people are actually starting to be interested in, and then we want to have them into to have a great experience when they're doing purchasing. Nobody does great experience, I think, better than Amazon, right? They don't have to create the media to get you to their product is just so good that, or the platform, I guess, is just so good that you just actually get there and you buy the stuff that you want to get because it is so effortless. They take away all the friction from the stuff that you're actually buying, right? But they also do have, which is actually, it's interesting now looking at the Amazon example. So the Amazon services that most of us actually buy are actually, I call it, are the commercial for where I think most of the money is made is with the corporate stuff and then the web services, right? So that is, again, they're leading with a great product and a great experience on the front end, which opens up the conversation for the bigger conversation. It's almost like the branding for the web services piece of it. And I forgot about that because I haven't been thinking about web services is the wrong term. Cloud, it's called Amazon Web Services. No, what's it called? AWS, Amazon Web Services. Yeah, AWS. Well, anyway. So yeah, it is it's the commercial, right? So they're leading with the product. They don't have to necessarily do the media to attract people to the product. And I think it is, and I'm not sure if it's an oval or if it's a flywheel, but we want to have some way to keep people in the ecosystem, and having a great experience, right? So we want to have more people kind of getting into the funnel and then having a great experience before they get out. Okay. All right. That's where I was going down that road. Starting to look at kind of experience. Yeah, starting to look at experience creation. Okay, so now we talk about Saturday morning creativity. So I frame my Saturday mornings inside of the context of long walks, better walking to a place, and heading to a destination, than just wildly ambling. But also, I have a goal of being on the leaderboard for steps for the Gyroscope app, and so I may hit 20,000, 30,000 steps. It will be a little bit more challenging today because got a late start for the morning. It'll be a little bit more challenging. About to get on the train in a second here. But yeah, the goal is to have 20-some thousand steps. So at least be number 2 on the leaderboard. Number 1 person, 6-day average on number of steps is about 24,000 steps right now, and I'm about 18,000 steps right now. So let's talk about that motivator. My steps go up this week. Let me just look at mine actually. I'm going to pull up my step count. Talk about this for a second. So if I look at, let me pull this up on StreamYard here real quick and talk about it for a minute here. I lost it. Where'd it go? Brand. Here we go. See how this image comes up. It's uploading right now. Let's see if we can pull it in here. Do we get it? Why is it not pulling it up? Come on, banner. That's giving the background. I get a banner here, a picture banner. Yeah, it's not pulling it up right now. All right. That's a shame. That would have been fun. I don't know why it's not pulling it up. Maybe it'll come up in a second here. Oh, it's probably the way I've done the background here. Boom, Bora, private chat layout. Boom. There it is. Okay. Got the banner there. Got this stuff working. Got the stuff working here. And so what else I want to say about that? All right. So my step counts, I was in my goal was 13,500 steps each day, and that was the goal to start to hit. And I would hit that. Sometimes I'd go to 15,000, sometimes I'd go to 17,000. Some days would do a big walking day and it would go much higher. But that was typically as far as the step counts would go. Then got introduced to the leaderboard for Gyroscope, and saw the top person was at about 24,000. And I've been over 20,000 steps for the last 5 days. Today is day 6 to have an average that goes over 20,000 steps. Now the top person is at 24,000 steps. I guess I could do 40,000 steps today to make that top, but it feels like I want to be in the second spot, to not have this dominate the whole day, to be in the second spot. Although there's something very interesting about going to the top of the leaderboard and just top of the leaderboard and then doing media the whole time, doing media the whole time when we're starting to work through those things. And we do that absent. The only reason I wouldn't do that is, one, I have family obligations, other human obligations, and work obligations to be able to manage on the side, or else I would be going 40,000 steps. Okay, wind is starting to get a little bit nutty here. Let's call this a whole live stream. Have an amazing day. Thanks a lot for everybody who's listening to this, and we'll speak soon.